our last speaker of this morning will be Sander Arts. Sander is the VP Marketing at Atmel, and then his topic today is about from maker place to marketplace. I like this topic especially is because a lot of times as makers or entrepreneurs, we have everything. We have the technology, we have the products, we have the prototypes, we have the money, but we don't have one thing that's very essential to success. It's the story. So Sander today will be talking about how do we create a attractive story for the market, and how does that can help you to really launch your product and then to be on the way of success.
It's actually interesting because I was making a presentation in Chinese. Well, I wasn't, but my team was. And now I see that everybody is their comprehensive of English is very good. It's actually a miracle that I'm here. Because this is me in a Hong Kong hospital a few days ago. I got off the plane from San Francisco, and the next morning I couldn't walk. And I was like, that's not going to go very well. And I mean, see. So I was in the humble streets of Shenzhen a few days ago, and I had an acupuncturist, and she made me walk again. I'll tell you the story later, because I wasn't going to talk to you about my health, but I thought it was a nice way of getting introduced. This is me, Sander Arts. I am the VP of Marketing at Atmel. Joined like 3 years ago and spotted quite a few very interesting things in this company that I will go and talk to you about. I'm also on WeChat because Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff doesn't work here. So when I'm here and I have time on my hands, I do a little bit of WeChat. So if you want to reach out, please go ahead. You probably spotted an accent. It's from the Netherlands. I was born and raised in Holland. For people who have been, Amsterdam, tulips and windmills, but also quite a few other things. This is the way we think. And I've applied some of this stuff to the way we're doing marketing at Atmel, and I'll show you what it is that we're doing. Yeah, are we getting this? Is everybody with me? Okay, good. Well, and then of course Shenzhen. I think the previous speaker I won't be able to exceed what he was talking about. So for me, this is the biggest makerspace in the world. I love it here. I've been coming to China for many, many years. I worked for Philips back in the Netherlands, so I think Philips really understands China very well. So I worked for them. I actually worked for the president and CEO who's currently running Philips, and we're good friends. I love it here, and I think as a center of innovation, this is like really cool. Then a little bit about the company. The company, if you think about semiconductors, everybody goes, okay, well, they're selling semiconductors and microcontrollers, and they look like this, and then as the head of marketing, you have to make that interesting. And if you explain what it is that we are doing, and this is the boilerplate, so you can find this underneath every single press release, and if you go through this, everybody is like, huh, that's a little boring. Huh? And that's the challenge from a marketing point of view, and this is the way I marketed, so I'm going to probably date myself a little bit. In Philips Semiconductors that I worked for years ago, we were marketing components like this. So we said, hey, you know, so Quinn, I would like to give you the floor so you can tell your story.
So hi, my name is Quinn Etnayer. I'm 14 years old and I'm from California in the US. This is a timeline. I was about 10 years old at the beginning, and now I'm 14 years old, and from then I've partnered with Atmel, and it's really helped me and my company. I partnered with them at maker fairs, given talks, and shown my projects at their booth. And especially the most helpful thing was on social media, like on Twitter and Facebook, and on their blog. They helped me reach lots more people than I wouldn't have done myself. Here's my contact information too, and my company is called QTechno. So this is my first maker fair, 2011, yeah. And I got to meet a lot of mentors, including Massimo Bonzi, the creator of Arduino. Nathan Seidel, the creator of SparkFun Electronics, and David Malice from Arduino. And here I got to network and meet a lot of mentors that helped me in a lot of what I do. And then I founded my company, Q-Techno. This is at the Atmel booth in Maker Faire Rome last year, and it was super fun getting to demo my products and projects there with them too. Here's the Atmel partnership. This is me and Sander, and we've been to about 5 or 6 Maker Fairs together around the world. It's really helped me showcase my projects, and yeah. Another cool thing about being with Atmel is they have tons of engineers that have lots of experience in the field. So this is Bob Martin, and he's from Atmel, and he taught me a lot of what I know about wireless solutions, lots of coding, and lots of embedded electronics, such as the Arduino platform, and getting to know that better. Then I made my Qduino Mini. This was on Kickstarter a few months ago, and Atmel shared it on their social media sites and everything. And right in the middle is an Atmel chip. And the Atmel chip runs the Arduino bootloader, so you can program it in Arduino. And it raised, let's see, 45,000 US or 280,000 RMB. And in 30 days, and it was super helpful with Atmel. And so, yeah, thank you, Sander.
Thank you. So I don't want anybody to walk away thinking that we are at the heart of Quinn's success. I think Quinn would have made everything that he's achieved all by himself as well. But we have just been at his side, and we probably for this reason, Quinn, if you ever go and be an MIT PhD and I'm in the need of a job, please hire this humble head of marketing. So I'm at the end of my presentation. I want to thank you very much. I hope I've been able to explain to you what it is that we're doing. We're not an average semiconductor company. We're not necessarily just supplying commodity kind of components. We're right at the heart of IoT, right at the heart of the Arduino, and right at the heart of the maker community. And if you partner with us, we'll help you go to market on this particular rocket ship. Probably Freescale is going to copy this one as well, who knows. The power is with you, right? So we're just the supplier of all the components, and we would love to partner with you, help you, and grow together and be successful together. Thank you very much for your attention.